the board of non-profit are boards like any other boards.
That's a message that we need to tell more. Because it's non-for-profit, it's really keeping on the long-term the strategic view. You have a mission. What do you put in place to achieve this goal? We think non-for-profit, so we think, okay, no money, no finance, no accounting. Well, that's completely untrue. Money matters, even in non-for-profit. It's not like a hobby. You have legal commitment, financial commitment, so it's big stuff. One of the risks is...
You're listening to The Chair. I'm Najia, a strategist and board advisor. Here, we unpack the realities of leadership, power, and purpose. Today in The Chair, Manon Loison, to explore how non-profit organizations can build strong, strategic identities. She's an entrepreneur I truly admire, and her insights into the non-profit world go far beyond theory. Let's begin. Hello, Manon.
Hello, Najia.
Thanks a lot for accepting this invite to an episode dedicated to the non-profit and the governance of non-profit. So it's a hot topic for us nowadays. Can you share your journey into the world of non-profit and social enterprise governance?
Yes, thanks first for the invitation in this beautiful area here, and looking forward indeed to discuss non-profit board with you. I always been in the space of I would say ISBL and foundation since a very long time. Always had like a side thing outside the job, in association for a very long time. I even had a little NGO for a couple of years when I was in my 20s. But 3 years ago, a friend of a friend reached out because she was looking to restructure a board from a social initiative in Luxembourg. And she thought about my profile. To be honest, I had no clue what it would mean. Now I can tell you, but 3 years ago, I had no idea. But very curious and wanted to learn. So I said yes, and I jumped in this new adventure on a non-executive director. Yes.
Wonderful. And what are the biggest governance challenges, I would say, unique to non-profit and mission-driven organizations, according to you?
Yes, so I would say first, because it's non-for-profit, it's really keeping on the long-term the strategic view. That really matters. You have a mission. What is the end goal? And what do you put in place as the board and with the management team to achieve this goal? So that's the long view that I think not every non-for-profit always has, because it's a very operational work also. Yeah. So what is the end goal? Alongside that, I would say align this mission and this vision with your finance.
Okay.
That matters a lot, because we think non-for-profit, so we think, okay, no money, no finance, no accounting. Well, it's completely untrue, extremely untrue. Money matters, even in non-for-profit, because this is the fuel that will support your vision, achieving your vision. And of course, also linked to that, the other big challenges is impact and measuring your impact. So of course you can tell, oh, well, I'm helping this population or I'm doing this project. So you can have like the qualitative view of your impact, but the quantitative view of your impact, like really putting numbers behind this impact and measuring and see from year 1 to year 2 how it evolves. So strategic view linked to your finance and your financial and linked to your impacts.
We understand it's a mission-driven organization, I would say like any other organizations.
Yeah.
How do non-executive director ensure a balance between the mission and the financial sustainability of such organization?
Well, for me, it's not even a balance. It's something that is very linked. Once again, if you want to fulfill your mission, you need to have a good financial health. So you need to be the master of your finance and your revenue. So that's maybe something we will touch upon later. But for me, that is fundamental in the non-profit is also the diversification of your revenue. Is the money that comes in that will, and sometimes a lot of time, it's also public money. How do you use this money to fulfill your mission, and on the long term, and how do you make that sustainable? Financial health linked to your revenue diversification. I think something also that really matters is the regulation part of that. It's a completely different topic, but you know that a new ISBL and foundation law was implemented almost 2 years ago in 2023.
Yes.
That basically will simplify and modernize the legal framework of ISBL and foundation, and also I think bring greater accountability for those ISBL. So that's something also that will ground this link between your mission and your financial sustainability. I'm just doing a little parenthèse here, but for those ISBL, and I know there is a few that have not touched upon their statute, the deadline is 23 of September 25, so in a couple of months. So please check your statute, check the new law, and see what you need to change to be compliant and to, again, link and have a good balance between your mission and financial sustainability. And back to what we just discussed before, I think the good also balance is once again measuring impact. If you have clear KPIs and clear numbers that you can look up to, then you can review this balance. Nothing is perfect from day one, but review this balance and make it healthy, more healthy in the coming months, in the coming years.
And so, would you share the view that the governance is here to maintain transparency and accountability in such a social impact organizations?
I think 100% governance is here to maintain transparency and accountability, but in any boards,
yes, sure.
in non-for-profit and for corporate boards. So, of course. But I think something that we tend to forget is that governance will bring you transparency and accountability, but governance will also bring you governance, meaning that when you are in a board, especially for non-profit, where sometimes things are a bit more unstructured, I would say. Actually, and that's something that we discussed quite a lot in the boards where I sit for non-profit, is our own governance.
Yes.
It's not just the link between the governance and the management and the accountability of what we are doing, but is that how also we structure our own governance.
Exactly.
So that, I think, is if you are thinking of transparency and accountability, first check how your governance is organized. And if you don't have a governance or poor governance, maybe start with that. It's a big work, but maybe start with that. It will help you to achieve transparency and accountability, or better transparency and accountability.
Manon, what you are saying is that you are assessing your own board in order to see how it is functioning and how it creates value, these kind of things?
Yes, 100%. And once again, it's a work in progress. In my case, so with this experience that I mentioned 3 years ago when we arrived on the board, I mean, we have urgent things to fix. So it was not from day one. But indeed, like you said, it's a question that overall as a group, we are 11. We ask ourselves and we build together. So for instance, 2 years after we started as this board, we moved also with working groups. So, we challenge how we worked together. We created a working group on On finance, we created a group on environmental and ecological topic.
Yes.
We created a working group on innovation. We created our own group on governance.
Okay.
And those, you see this kind of like start of structuration.
Yes.
We produced in our working group work, then nourish how we wanted to build the future governance of our own board, of course, and also of the structure itself.
Amazing. Yeah. And how should, I would say, board member approach stakeholder engagement? Because it's really key in a non-profit setting, this stakeholder engagement. I mean, how to inform, how to create, more relation with your, we can say, members? Or
Members, yes.
Customers. So.
Yes, yes. I think, well, of course, it will also depend on your mission and your objective. But I think you need also to be, once again, it's back to governance. You need to be clear with who you are and what you do. So you need to identify clearly your stakeholders, who they are. And beyond identifying who they are, you also need to understand what do they expect. Mm-hmm. And this, what do they expect? It's a tough work because it means creating a dialogue and understanding, I don't know to say that in English, but aller sur le terrain, going on site.
On the ground, yeah.
On the ground. Once again, in the board where we are, that's what we do quite a lot.
Yes.
With our different interests. But people from this board go on the ground to discuss with the team and so on. So I think that is very important. And then beyond that is obviously back to impact, because that's what people will see is, so once again, identifying your KPI, analyzing your KPI, measuring your impact, but also then communicating on your impact. And I'm not just saying that, for instance, with the activity report. The activity report matters, of course, it's no-brainer, but more than that. We said that during this year, we will do this and this and this. We have achieved this and this and this. And across the year, communicate. And leave the info goes to your member, your stakeholders, your partners.
Yes.
I think it matters. Even if you think, yeah, but this doesn't concern them or this is not out of interest for them, you don't know. Because most of them, they want to have also the big picture. So never be afraid also to deliver the big picture. That matters.
Manon, I want to come back to the financial part, because when we were preparing this interview, we discussed about the relation between non-profit and profit.
Yeah.
And I want to know how can non-profit build financially sustainable models.
Yeah.
While the challenge is to stay true to their mission.
Yeah. But once again, I think is something that is sometimes a bit controversial when you're talking about non-profit, because we say, okay, corporate boards and financial institution, money, non-for-profit institution, no money. We don't talk about money. So untrue. Money is money. Private money, public money, it's money. So, and you cannot run an organization without money. The only difference is that in financial institution or in corporate board and so on, money will be redistributed. In a non-profit, money will be circulated.
Okay.
So, true. But you need money. So I think, and also that's what we do in our board. One of the big things that we took over is, once again, and I think I mentioned that, is revenue diversification. From where the money is coming from to help you, so your organization is up and running, and how you diversify that. How do you also get more to achieve your goals and to transform that into project? And once again, it's not money to enrich ourselves. Absolutely not. It's money to perform better the mission that your organization has. So I think, for instance, of course, it depends on the size. But if one ISBL say, yeah, but I'm used to that. I have one grant per year from whatever, a ministry or money from
sponsor,
members or whatever.
Yeah.
But I have one stream of revenue, and that's how I build my... I think as a governance, and that we discuss a lot in our board, I would say careful. Because it opens you to a sense of vulnerability.
Exactly, and dependence.
A dependence.
Yeah.
That also can challenge your mission. Mm-hmm. So I would say always try to see how you can think out of the box, how you can reach out to other type of revenue, and also be bold. Mm-hmm. That's also, I think, the role of a strong board that needs to work very alongside, especially through a non-for-profit. And I see that in our board. We are working extremely closely with the direction, with the management team. Yes. We have a very strong relation, a lot of exchange, and the board is really here to empower them and to support the strategic mission, the strategic view that they have. And so that means in this revenue diversification, okay, maybe try something that we have not done before. Mm-hmm. See in our financial and budget planning, is it possible? Agree if it's possible. So it means also take the risk.
Consensus and take the risk.
And take the risk. So that's something I want also to say for non-for-profit board directors. You have the exact same risk and obligation as members of corporate boards. So same risk.
So the board of non-profit are boards like any other boards.
Exactly. And I think that's a big, and I leave that from experience, but also from, the law. Yeah. So, and that's something that's a message that we need to tell more. It's not like a hobby. It can be a hobby. But what I mean is that you have a real commitment, legal commitment, financial commitment. So it's big stuff.
Okay.
And so what I meant is work alongside with the direction, the management, to continue this mission and make it happen.
And what are the key consideration when managing? When it comes to managing donors, funds, impact investments. These kind of things, because somehow we used to donate, and we want to know how the money is used.
Yes.
Is it
and
in
it
an
should.
efficient?
It's not.
It should. Yeah.
It's not. It should not even be a question.
Yeah.
It should be, you give money to this organization. You need to know how it's used. So first thing, we're back to accountability and transparency. That goes alongside very strong KPIs or items. KPIs, business maybe a word, but I have this money, I have this project, I have this outcome. It's specifically detailed. And when this project is completed, this is achieved 50%, this is not achieved, why? And to make it very clear. And once again, beyond the activity report, I would really encourage, even in your own, with your own people in your ISBL, and to be really transparent about, this has worked because, this has not worked because, be transparent. Which is something actually that the new law, in terms of reporting, really puts the emphasis on. So I would say for those that were thinking, that's not for me, you have no choice now.
Can we say that, for corporate boards, we have this kind of return of investment, and here we have a kind of return of donation or return of...
Of course.
Yeah.
I think it's very clear. It's you need also to prove to the people that the money that they commit in, they see a direct result and direct impact. And also it will of course help your organization in a way.
Yes.
Because if people see, I come here, I pay this, and I know that it helps this type of people, or in kind of social initiative. I did that, and then they say, okay, but then maybe I give a little bit more, or even I engage more proactively within the organization. So at the end, it's fully beneficial. And also, I think when we are thinking ministry or public money that give money to this association, of course, we all went through. You have the audit, you review. It's very structured, it's very organized. But I think there is a difference between what is on paper and like the audit and just the number. And then there is the mission and the story that you tell with what you have done. And so if you can put this kind of element of empathy beyond just the number and the money that you receive, I'm quite sure those public operator will say, they are really committed. They are really doing the extra miles. So let's see. Maybe we increase a bit the grant or the donation, or we are more willing to discuss. So I think that's also something that's very beneficial. Yes.
I think we started to touch on the trust. Building the trust and maintaining the trust. I think that this transparency will definitely help when it comes to trust.
Yeah.
Do you see any common reputational risk into the nonprofit sector?
I think one of the risks is not being proactive. So I think you need to be, especially in nonprofits, you need to be proactive for everything. You need to be proactive to your risk management. Risk management strategy is something that we talk a lot. We talk a lot about that in corporate board. I think we talk less about that in non-for-profits. You need to have a risk strategy. If I do that and it doesn't work or something happened, then what happened? Both from a financial perspective, but also from a reputational perspective.
Okay.
So I think that really matters. Be proactive in your risk management, approach. I would say as well, that's my notes. I would say also, back to the governance, be also very proactive in your governance structure. Trust is very linked to your governance structure, because from that, you will have transparency and accountability. So once again, I think one of the risks is that if you don't have a clear governance, this is a big risk. So think of your governance. And of course, in non-for-profit, there is always an element behind of what is ethic. Mm-hmm. What is the right thing to do? I don't want to put that on the level of moral. This is something different.
Different, yeah.
But it's really on the ethical. Like, how do you, if your end goal is to help, for instance, this vulnerable population, also internally in the organization, for instance, from an HR perspective, how things are handled.
Exactly.
Okay, so if things are poorly handled from an HR perspective inside your organization, or you have issue, but also your mission is to help this type of vulnerable population on your side, maybe there is a problem. So you need from A to Z to always think of your ethics in your organization, from what you do outside, but also how things are run inside.
Exactly.
And this is also where I think, and this is also my experience, where the management team and where the board can really work very closely together.
To look for a kind of coherence, I would say.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I mean, we said that the boards of nonprofit are boards like any others.
Like any other.
What role do the non-executives play when it comes to integrating technology, innovation into nonprofit governance?
Well, I think today, we are living in a world with technology. Technology is everywhere. Innovation is everywhere. So back to how you structure your own governance, it's back to that. I mean, technology and innovation needs to be integrated. There is a word that we use now for quite a while about digital transformation, for instance. I think that's a topic where you are 100% the expert, Nadia. But that applies as well for nonprofit. It's not because you are not a small. Of course, there is a question of the means that you have, obviously.
Yeah.
But don't put aside innovation. Don't put aside technology. That's something that needs to be integrated in your governance, because it will just help you also do things better, faster. It will also help you to renew your own structure and your board. We see that in a lot of ISBL. If you take the average age in the board of the non-for-profit and the small ISBL, that makes the life in Luxembourg and everywhere else is not always young people. It's because we say, retired people have time. Sure. But also, why those young people doesn't come more in those SBL? And I'm not even speaking the big one. I'm speaking about maybe the round running in your hometown, the tennis club. Okay, maybe it's a little one, but it's the life or where you live. So I think also if you bring some innovative ideas, some innovative technology, some new way to process things, you will also bring along a new generation to run those ISBL and to be part of the board as well.
Okay, so the way to integrate technology, you think, Manon, that it will bring younger people in to be involved?
I hope also to give them a bit the key of those organizations. I mean, I'm thinking of myself. Well, I'm not that young. Unfortunately, but 3 years ago I was a bit younger, and we see that with this person that tried to restructure the board. We really had a true gap of generation. And I'm not saying the other board was doing a bad job, not at all. It was just a question of changing
the mindset.
Exactly. And the previous board was more people between 50, 60. Our board, I think it ranged from 25 to 40. Okay. So you by essence, you see a difference. And I'm not saying one is bad and the other is good. I think also the mix is great. Yes. I think it's great to have people that have run a ISBL for many, many years, that have all the experience, all the knowledge, and that embark a new generation and transmit, pass on the flag.
One question, Manon, I have is that, in almost every certification for non-executive director, one of the advice is go for non-profit first before to sit in a commercial board. And what advice would you give to professionals transitioning into non-profit board roles?
Well, because... And we say that, and I truly believe that, because the responsibility are almost the same. So for me, there is no real difference in terms of how you should approach your role and your responsibility and your commitments in a corporate board and a not-for-profit board. So for me, if you are committed, go ahead. If you are not committed and you're... But I see quite a lot recently, just put a board member on your LinkedIn profile. Please don't go. Please don't go. But if you are committed, want to give time, because it's something that maybe that is the big difference between corporate board and non-for-profit. Corporate board, they are paid.
Yeah.
Non-for-profit, it's full voluntary. And I can tell you, we spend a lot of time.
Yes, of course,
working. And we are not paid. But for me, I do that because I see that as my part of contribution to what I want to see in the society. So that's my personal value I stand for. But in terms of the advice, I would say there is no difference. So be committed, be very clear of the responsibility that you endorse. So this is not something to take up lightly. I would say that, once again, there is no difference between public money, private money. It's money, so it goes with the same responsibility and with the same accountability. So be clear also of that. And then I would say just do it, because it's a great way to learn new stuff, to meet new people, to meet people that are really different from universe. I see that in the board where we are. I mean, we are 11, coming from very different background. Super, super enriching. So yeah, I would say just do it.
Wonderful. Last question, what is the one key governance lessons would you adopt from a corporate board? Would you?
I think we talk a lot about that. It's really this risk management approach, because once again, from a money perspective, from a legal perspective, same issue, same responsibility, same thing. So I think the mentality or the tools, not that mentality, the tools that are missing usually in a non-for-profit is really this risk management approach.
Okay.
That you have in corporate board by essence, because that's what they do. But you need to apply that in non-for-profit.
Manon, where can we meet you?
Where you can meet me. So you can definitely reach at me on LinkedIn, on social media, or via my email address, hello@manonloison.lu. And you can obviously grab a lunch with me at Collabor. I'm spent quite some time there. So one of the best social initiatives in Luxembourg. So I invite you maybe to grab lunch with me there and discover their amazing kitchen. And on the Sunday, for people that know me, I love to wander in the forest in Luxembourg. So no phone, but if you're up for a group walk, we can go for a walk.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks a lot, Manon.
Thank you, Nadia, for this very interesting discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.